Live from New Delhi, you're watching the India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi attends Quad Summit, highlights its importance as a force for global good. Key joint initiatives announced. Prime Minister Modi holds talk with US President Joe Biden, says their comprehensive global strategic partnership is driven by convergence of interest. In Sri Lanka, counting of votes underway for the presidential polls. NPP's Anura Kumara Visanayake leads in postal ballots. Kamala Harris invites Donald Trump for another debate. Trump declines, says too late. India hammers Bangladesh by 280 runs in first test in Chennai. Ashwin shines with 6-wicket haul. And on to the top story. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a 3-day visit to United States, participated in the Quad Leaders Summit in Wilmington, Delaware, being hosted by US President Joe Biden in his hometown. This is the 6th Quad Summit, of which 2 took place virtually, while Prime Minister Modi used the acronym for Quad as Quick Unified Assistance Delivery and underlined the need to establish Indo-Pacific inclusivity and prosperity as the grouping's shared priority. Quad leaders appreciated him for the leadership role in the Indian Ocean. President Biden said that the US has things to learn from India's experience and leadership in the Indian Ocean.
The Quad has become a pivotal force in shaping shifting geopolitical dynamics. Amid global tensions and conflicts, the alliance comprising India, the US, Japan and Australia convened in Wilmington, Delaware. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted the Indo-Pacific inclusivity and prosperity as a shared priority, with a clear message that the cooperation of the nations is important for humanity, given the current world order. He also thanked President Biden for expanding cooperation across critical areas like health, technology and climate change.
Free, open, inclusive और प्रॉस्परस इंडो पैसिफिक हमारी साझा प्राथमिकता और साझा प्रतिबद्धता है। हमने मिलकर हेल्थ सिक्योरिटी, क्रिटिकल एंड इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज, क्लाइमेट चेंज, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग जैसे क्षेत्रों में कई सकारात्मक और समावेशी इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं।
PM Modi also asserted that the Quad was not against anyone and it supported rules-based international order.
हमारी बैठक ऐसे समय हो रही है जब विश्व तनावों और संघर्षों से घिरा हुआ है। ऐसे में साझा डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज के आधार पर क्वाड का मिलकर साथ चलना पूरी मानवता के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। हम किसी के खिलाफ नहीं हैं। हम सभी एक रूल्स बेस्ड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर, संप्रभुता और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता के सम्मान और सभी मसलों के शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से हल निकालने का समर्थन करते हैं।
US President Joe Biden echoed this sentiment, affirming that the Quad is more aligned than ever, announcing new initiatives.
Today, we're announcing a series of initiatives to deliver real, positive impact for the Indo-Pacific. That includes providing new maritime technologies to our regional partners so they know what's happening in their waters, launching cooperation between coast guards for the first time, and expanding the Quad Fellowship to include students from Southeast Asia.
Japanese PM and his Australian counterpart further stressed on the need of an institution like Quad that plays a crucial role in strengthening security and peace in the region. They called Quad to work together for a more secure and open international order.
It is ever more important for us, the Quad, who share values such as freedom and democracy, to continue to demonstrate our firm commitment to our common vision of FOIP, the free and open Indo-Pacific, to the international community.
Partnerships like the Quad are crucial, providing us with an avenue to discuss shared responsibilities and goals and strengthening the enduring relationships necessary for lasting stability.
In an ever-evolving world, the Quad's commitment to a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific is crucial for the future of global stability and cooperation. With Amritpal Singh in the United States, Bureau Report, DD India.
And India, USA, Australia and Japan expressed a serious concern about the coercive and intimidating maneuvers in South China Sea. In a joint declaration named as Wilmington Declaration, the leaders of the Quad countries came out heavily against any misadventures that break the international rules-based order. Countries participating in Quad summit emphasized the urgent need to make UNSC more representative, inclusive, transparent, democratic and accountable. The Quad nations in their declaration expressed an unequivocal condemnation against terrorism and violent extremism in all its form and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism, and affirmed commitment for international cooperation. The Quad nations also announced key initiatives to address the development priorities of the Indo-Pacific region and of the global community. These initiatives include Quad Cancer Moonshot to combat cervical cancer, Maritime Initiative for Training in the Indo-Pacific, METRI, Quad at Sea Ship Observer Mission to advance maritime safety. Quad Ports of the Future Partnership to support port infrastructure, Quad Principles for Development and Deployment of Digital Public Infrastructure, Semiconductor Supply Chains Contingency Network for Cooperation, Collective Quad Effort to Boost Energy Efficiency, Establishment of a Space-Based Web Portal for Mauritius by India, Additional Quad STEM Fellowship for Engineering Degree for Indo-Pacific students in India, creating Quad Investors Network for Strategic Technology, enhancing people-to-people initiatives, working together to address regional and global issues, and enduring partners for the Indo-Pacific. While briefing the media in New York on India's PM Modi's interactions with leaders in Quad summit and his separate bilateral meetings, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that there were all-encompassing discussion on issues of mutual cooperation as well as regional and international development. He informed the media that in addition to other initiatives, Quad launched an Indo-Pacific Logistics Network pilot project to pursue shared airlift capacity in order to support civilian response to natural disasters more rapidly.
Partners also launched the first ever Quad at Sea Ship Observer Mission. This will take place in 2025 to improve interoperability and advance maritime safety between our respective coast guards across the Indo-Pacific. The Quad Indo-Pacific Logistics Network project will pursue shared airlift capacity among our nations and leverage our collective logistics strengths to support civilian response to natural disasters more efficiently and more rapidly.
Also, India's Foreign Secretary said that during bilateral talks with US President Joe Biden, recent developments in Bangladesh also came up for discussion and both leaders resolved to work together.
Bangladesh also figured in the discussions. And there was an exchange of views with regard to the situation there.
And for more, we have Amritpal Singh joining us from New York. Well, Amrit, we saw a joint statement of the Quad Leaders Summit. What was the crux of the leaders' discussion?
That Quad should be used for common global good and for the good of humanity, with the Prime Minister especially stressing that though there are concerns in certain quarters about unilateralism of particular countries, but the idea of the Quad is that they are not against any particular country. It is to collectively come for the global good and collective good of the countries of the Indo-Pacific, and they should be able to leverage their strength. So I think the central message emanating out of the 4th in-person and the 6th Quad Leaders Summit held in Delaware on day 1 of the Prime Minister's visit was very clear that the Quad is here to stay, the Quad is here to assist, and the Quad is here to deliver for the good of humanity.
All right, on day 1, the message was very clear. The Quad is here to stay. Also, Amrit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held an extremely fruitful meeting with US President Biden. How do you see the outcome?
Well, the optics of the Prime Minister's meeting with the President were very positive. You could see the warmthness in relationship. In fact, the Prime Minister telling President Biden कि जब आप अपने घर के दरवाजे खोल देते हैं, आप अपने दिल के दरवाजे खोलते हैं. That when you open the doors of your home, you open the doors of your heart. So that really conveyed the essence of the meeting. They discussed the entire gamut, use of technology for betterment, etc. But essentially, sending that message that this is an institutionalized relationship which has, though President Biden is going to hang his spurs by the end of the year, but clearly the India-US relationship has gone beyond individuals, though the human agency plays an important role, but it has gone beyond individuals and is they are looking at strengthening this relationship in the diverse areas of engagement that the two countries have.
All right, Amrit, thank you so much for all those details. And moving on the sidelines of the Quad meet, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with US President Joe Biden, Australian PM Anthony Albanese and Japanese PM Fumio Kishida attended the Cancer Moonshot event. Quadrilateral Cancer Moonshot Initiative was launched by Quad leaders to prevent, detect, treat and alleviate the impact of cervical cancer. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a special fund to fight against the cervical cancer. PM Modi said Quad has decided to jointly tackle challenges of cervical cancer.
यह एफोर्डेबल, एक्सेसिबल और क्वालिटी हेल्थ केयर के लिए हमारे साझे दृढ़ निश्चय को दर्शाता है। एक्सेलेंसी, भारत अपना एक्सपीरियंस और एक्सपर्टाइज शेयर करने के लिए तैयार है। आज कैंसर केयर में काम करने वाले भारत के कई एक्सपर्ट्स इस इवेंट्स में हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। भारत का विजन है वन अर्थ वन हेल्थ। इसी भावना से मैं क्वाड मूनशॉट इनिशिएटिव के तहत $7.5 मिलियन के सैपलिंग किट्स, डिटेक्शन किट्स और वैक्सीन का सहयोग देने की घोषणा करता हूं।
Well, Prime Minister further said that India will also cooperate in radiotherapy treatment and capacity building and announced another fund for vaccine doses in the Indo-Pacific region.
मुझे खुशी है कि इंडो पैसिफिक देशों के लिए गावी और क्वाड की पहलों के अंतर्गत भारत से 40 मिलियन वैक्सीन डोसेज का योगदान दिया जाएगा। ये 40 मिलियन वैक्सीन डोसेज करोड़ों लोगों के जीवन में आशा की किरणें बनेगी। As you can see, when the Quad acts, it is not just for nations, it is for the people. This is the true essence of our human-centric approach. धन्यवाद।
Also, in a major breakthrough during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ongoing visit, the US has facilitated return of 297 stolen or trafficked antiquities to India. In a symbolic handing over, a select few pieces were showcased to PM Modi and President Biden on the sidelines of their bilateral meeting in Wilmington, Delaware. PM Modi thanked President Biden for his support in the return of these artifacts. He noted that these objects were not just part of India's historical material culture, but formed the inner core of its civilization and consciousness. India and USA recently signed the first ever cultural property agreement to prevent illegal trafficking of cultural property and retrieval of antiquities. The antiquities belong to a time period spanning almost 4,000 years, from 2000 BCE to 1900 CE, and have origins in different parts of India. Well, India's Prime Minister Modi gifted an antique silver hand-engraved train model to President Biden. Signifying the robust linkages between India and the US, the model has been customized by inscribing Delhi, Delaware on the sides of the main carriage and Indian Railways on the sides of the engine in English and Hindi based on the standard format used on passenger trains in India. This vintage silver hand-engraved train model is a rare and extraordinary piece, masterfully crafted by artisans from Maharashtra, renowned for its rich heritage in silver craftsmanship. This masterpiece not only highlighted the artisan's exceptional skill, but also served as a glowing testimony to the long history of Indian Railways and its global influences. And Pashmina shawl in papier mâché box was the gift for First Lady of US Jill Biden. Pashmina shawl of exceptional quality and unparalleled beauty comes from the Jammu and Kashmir. Pashmina shawls are heirlooms passed down through generations, carrying memories and emotions within their threads. Pashmina shawls traditionally come packed in papier mâché boxes from J&K that are renowned for their exquisite beauty and craftsmanship. And moving on, in Sri Lanka, counting of votes is underway in the presidential election amid tight security arrangements. In early trends, NPP leader Anurakumara Dissanayake has taken a lead over other candidates in the postal ballots. As per the results announced by the Election Commission, the leftist leader is leading with 40% votes, while Sajid Premadasa trails behind with 33%. And for more, we have Dr. Ahmed Moeen Farooqi joining us from Colombo. Well, Dr. Ahmed, all eyes are on the ongoing vote counting in the island nation. The early trends of the vote counting indicate a lead of the left-leaning Anurakumara Dissanayake in the race. What latest can you tell us?
Lepakshi, you see, this election is a very pivotal moment for Sri Lanka because there has been a strong desire for change among all the Sri Lankans here. Ever since the 2022 economic downturn, people have been desiring for a more responsible, transparent and an accountable government. And that is what has been promised by the left-leaning leader, Mr. Dissanayake. Right now, about 50% of the counting has already been completed, and we are expecting that the rest of the results of the counting of the remaining ballot boxes will be released soon. Meanwhile, last night, the incumbent president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, had announced a curfew for ensuring that the entire counting process will be completed in a safe and a peaceful manner. And the curfew was just lifted a little while ago. And we are hoping that, considering that the Election Commission has also said that this has been the most peaceful election so far in the history of Sri Lanka, the same situation will continue till the end of the results and thereafter as well. Lepakshi.
All right. Also tell us, how will the result impact the already troubled Sri Lanka's economy? What lies ahead for Sri Lanka?
Lepakshi, this is a very pivotal moment, as I already said. The new government will have a lot of responsibilities with regard to steering the country's, already fragile economy out of the, crisis into recovery. Some amount of efforts have already put by the incumbent president, Ranil Wickremesinghe's government. But a lot yet needs to be done, because you see, till 2028, the debt restructuring has already been done so that there would be a moratorium on the debt repayments. But from the 2029 January, the debt repayments will have to start, and that will be a very big challenge for the new government, because they have to ramp up the revenues, they have to take care of various other issues in terms of development of the local industry as well as generation of jobs, because that is a very, very crucial issue which has already been raked up during the campaign process of this election. So considering all these things, I think the new government has a lot of it at its hands when it takes charge. Lepakshi.
All right. Thank you so much for all those details, Dr. Ahmed. And moving on, in a tragic incident, at least 30 people were killed in a mine blast in eastern Iran. Several others were injured in the coal mine blast, according to Iranian state television. The deadly blast caused by a glass explosion in South Khorasan province. The incident occurred at around 2100 local time on Saturday. Several were trapped in the coal mine. And moving on, former U.S. President and Republican nominee Donald Trump has ruled out another debate with Democratic rival Vice President Kamala Harris ahead of the November 5th presidential election. This came hours after Harris's campaign said she had agreed to an October 23rd matchup with the Republican rival on CNN. Trump said that it was too late for a debate as voting had already started. The two leaders had their first debate earlier this month.
The problem with another debate is that it's just too late. Voting has already started. She's had her chance to do it with Fox. You know, Fox invited us on, and I waited, and they turned it down. But now she wants to do a debate right before the election with CNN because she's losing badly.
Well, months after uncertainty due to a hung parliament, French President Emmanuel Macron has unveiled new cabinet comprising mostly of right-wing leaders. More details in our next report.
After months of political deadlock following a snap election, French President Emmanuel Macron has finally announced a new government dominated by the right wing. The cabinet, which will be led by Prime Minister Michel Barnier, has 39 members. The Justice Minister is the only left-wing leader in the cabinet. The move is likely to fuel political discontent as the left parties secured most votes in the second round of the French polls. A day before the announcement of the cabinet, thousands of far-left activists gathered in Paris to protest against Macron and Barnier. Earlier, Macron's choice of naming conservative Barnier as PM had triggered similar protests. On the streets of Paris, ordinary people seemed surprised over the left wing's small share in the cabinet.
It's surprising we have ministers mostly from the right, although legislative election was not in their favor. And with the immigration law last year, we saw that there was already a turn towards the right. And so I hope there will quickly be a vote of no confidence. I hope they don't last very long because this is a bit incomprehensible democratically speaking.
PM Barnier has a tough road ahead. He has to keep the ruling alliance together and also ensure that the parliament adopts the 2025 budget. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, to commemorate the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, India's Territorial Army had launched the first ever expedition from Siachen Glacier to Indira Point, traversing a distance of approximately 5,500 kilometers through land, air and sea by cycling, sailing and scuba diving. Expedition was flagged off from Siachen Glacier Base Camp on 30th of July this year. On 21st of September 2024, the team reached Indira Point, culminating their 54 days long journey. The team hoisted the tricolour underwater at Indira Point, which is the southernmost tip of India, which got submerged in water during the tsunami of 2004. The team interacted with the people of different walks of life throughout their journey from the Ladakh till Campbell Bay, spreading awareness about Indian Army and Territorial Army. The team also spread awareness about environmental consciousness. And in sports, Ravichandran Ashwin wreaked havoc, claiming 6 wickets for 88 runs and bowling India to a comprehensive 280-run victory inside 4 days in the opening test for a 1-0 lead in the 2-match series on Sunday, chasing a mammoth 515 victory target. Bangladesh were all out for 234 with only skipper Najmul Hussain Shanto offering some resistance with the bat. He scored 82. Ashwin was pick of the Indian bowlers while Jadeja returned with a figure of 3 for 58 runs. After Bangladesh resumed on 158 for 4, Shanto and all-rounder Shakib Al Hasan kept India at bay with their dogged resistance in the opening hour. Following Shakib Al Hasan dismissal, Bangladesh batting collapsed to lose the match with 5 sessions to spare. The second and final test begins in Kanpur on Friday. An Indian men's team are close to winning a gold medal after they defeated the USA by 2.5, 1.5 in the 10th and penultimate round of the 2024 Chess Olympiad in Budapest, capital of Hungary. Arjun Argaisi has put India on the brink of a historic gold medal in the open section with a victory over USA's Lina Dominiquez Perez in the final match of the 10th round. Argaisi and D. Gukesh continued their stellar run. Gukesh outclassed world number 2 Fabiano Cariano while Argaisi got better of Perez. Now India leads with 19 points, followed by China with 17 points and Slovenia with 16 points. They will face Slovenia in the 11th and final round on Sunday. In women's section, the Indian women's team are back in the contention for gold. They scored a critical 2.5, 1.5 win over China in the 10th round to share top spot with Kazakhstan. Divya Deshmukh once again struck for India. Divya scored a wonderful win while all 3 games ended with a draw. And Ben Shelton and Alejandro Tabulo defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas and Casper Ruud 6-1, 6-2 to hand Team 1 earned 8-4 lead over Team Europe at the end of Day 2 of the Lever Cup. Prior to the doubles match, American Taylor Fritz put Team World ahead as he outclassed German Alexander Zverev 6-4, 7-5. First day victories at the 3-day team contest in Berlin are worth 1 point apiece, with 2 points being awarded for wins on the second day and 3 points each on the third and final day on Sunday. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.